Ladies and gentlemen, we would like to welcome you to News Central's Town Hall series, broadcasting live from Asaba, the Delta State capital. My name is Bernard Akede. I'm the head of reportorial and the team lead for reporters at News Central Television. We would like to say once again, welcome to News Central Town Hall series. Our News Central Town Hall series, yes, you can put your hands together. It's a good place. Our New Central Town Hall series is a gathering of the people and the policymakers, depending on the conversation we're having. And we are proud to say that this is our first Town Hall series for this year, coming to Asaba, Delta State, and our conversation is for people with disabilities. Now, I'll quickly start off with a short story, possibly so that you can understand why we are discussing persons with disabilities. I've said this before. Earlier, I did a report as a young reporter on persons with disabilities, and I realized that not many people even understand who people with disabilities are or the challenges that they go through. And in that report, I spoke to some people who we call dwarfs, and you realize that some of them go to public toilets, and the toilet is even almost as tall as their chest. Some people go to use ATM machines, and they are not tall enough to punch the buttons. There are some people who want to enter boats, but because they are on wheelchairs, they cannot access the boats. Some people go to banks, and the pillar of the bank is taller than them because they are dwarfs, so they can't even see. But because most of us are normal, we don't seem to understand these unique and peculiar challenges that these people are experiencing and going through. And so because of this, News Central Television decided to start this conversation. These are conversations that have been had before, but now we want to bring it back and bring it to the fore. What are the policies that have been put in place for these people? Are these policies working? But most importantly, what are the experiences that our brothers and sisters in the disability community have been facing? We're going to have them talk about their experiences. We're going to have the policymakers tell us what is in place. Also tell us why these laws are not functional and what we can do to ensure that these brothers and sisters of us, or amongst us, can live inclusive lives. And also, so that this does not end as a talk shop, we would also like to have our policymakers commit to tell us that after this conversation, this is what we have decided to do to ensure that we move forward. We don't expect that all the change will happen today, but we expect that the change will begin today. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, welcome to News Central Town Hall series. This one is for persons with disabilities. Please, you can put your hands together for yourself. We have some special guests on ground here, but before we go forward, I would like to call Pastor Rex to give us the opening prayer. We know that whatever it is we do, we begin with God, and whatever it is we do, we end with God. So I would like to call Pastor Rex to please start with us with the opening prayer. Thank you.
Praise the Lord. Can I kindly ask that we all rise to our feet and let's respect God by removing our caps. Dear Father, we thank you for your presence here today. You said where 2 or 3 are, there you are in our midst. We ask that your presence will pervade this place with peace, tranquility, and wisdom, and your name will be glorified. Thank you for your presence here. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Thank you so very much, sir. Now, I did mention earlier that there are certain things we will be attending to, policies, challenges, the issues that persons with disabilities are going through. Some of the questions we are going to be looking at in this particular town hall series. We're going to be examining why is it important that we move from sympathy to actual solutions at this point in Nigeria. And just so I mentioned, if I fail to mention, the theme for our town hall series is moving from sympathy to solutions, persons with disabilities in Nigeria. And also we are going to be analyzing what does real change look like for persons with disabilities. But I'd like to announce that New Central Television is not doing this alone. We're also in partnership with TAF Africa. And of course, I would like to call on the founder and the CEO of TAF Africa, none other than the president of Professor Jake Epele, who is largely a friend of the House and has been with us so far. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Bernard. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. But before I do anything, I want to salute the champion of disability, not only in Nigeria, but in Africa and the world, the Asaba of Asaba. Naago, Naago, Naago. With that said, ladies and gentlemen, I want to speak to us in another 4 minutes, 30 seconds on the need for initiatives like this. I want to spend this moment to thank News Central for championing, indeed, this crusade to getting the voices of persons with disability not only heard, but move from being heard to true vocal equity. Our voices must be heard in the room, counted in the room, taking into cognizance in implementation. And so, again, I want to thank everyone for coming. For too long, the conversation around disability in Nigeria has been shrouded in the language of charity or pity. But sympathy does not build rams. It does not create jobs, and certainly does not enforce laws. Today, we are here to pivot from a charity model for a right-based reality. We are moving from sympathy, or I would rather couch it from empathy, to solutions. Let me define real change. When we talk about real change, we aren't talking about intentions. We are talking about impact. Real change looks like a student with low vision like myself, though I'm not a student, having the same access to learning material as our peers. It looks like a qualified professional in a wheelchair being able to enter an office independently. For the PWD community in Nigeria, real change means that Discrimination Against and Prohibition Act is not just a document gathering dust in Abuja, but a living shield that protects the dignity of every Nigerian. The urgency of now. Why does this moment matter? Because we are at a crossroad. We have the legislation, but we lack the lived experience of its enforcement. Our states are the frontiers of this battle. As we look at the challenges across Delta, Edo, Cross River, rivers, and so on and so forth, and of course the nation at large, we look at the challenges across these states that we see barriers, not just physical, but systemic. This town hall is demanding for a national strategy that is local in execution. To government officials and stakeholders here, today is not for platitudes. We are here for a conversation to commitment. I repeat, a conversation to commitment. I invite every speaker to move beyond telling us what the problems are. We live those problems every day. Tell us how we will solve them, when you fix them, and how you will fix them. It is important to hold those that should be held accountable so that we can move the needle of inclusion. Ladies and gentlemen, let me express my gratitude to God Almighty that I can beat my chest to say that I have a friend, a revered traditional ruler, one who has touched many hearts, one who is willing to open his door for people that don't look like him. Today, we pray that the God Almighty will bless the Asaba, that your reign will continue to know peace, and your kingdom will continue to be announced. We are proud of you openly associating with people you don't have business to associate with. You have shown yourself an incredible leader, and we are proud to identify with you. The same thing goes to everyone seated here today. The chairman of TAF Africa, who left Uganda, flew into Nigeria just to be part of this. Sir, thank you. Finally, my good friend, you know, Akintime has white hair like myself, and I've decided yesterday that I'm going to whitewash him so that he will look like me. Ladies and gentlemen, this conversation to commitment begins now.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Professor J.K. Pele. We're going to go on with the town hall series. Before I do that, I would like to mention certain persons who have graced our occasion. We would like to recognize their presence while they are here. We have Mrs. Stella Macaulay, who is functioning Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Information, representing the Honorable Commissioner for Works, Rural Roads and Public Information. We equally have Arojojoye Patricia, who is the Secretary to the member representing Oshimili South State Constituency, Delta State House of Assembly, Honorable Ifechukwuku. Thank you so much.
Nago. Our distinguished personalities, it gives me great pleasure on utmost to invite His Royal Majesty Asaba Professor Epiphany Chibuogwazenge, by the special grace of Almighty God, the 14th Asaba of Haba, to declare this occasion open. Nago, Asaba Habago.
Let me acknowledge the members of the civil service and public service of Delta State in attendance. I want to appreciate New Central in partnership with TAF Foundation for putting this town hall together. I am happy that we are migrating from sympathy, empathy to solution. We have passed the stage of formulation of policies and implementation to now implementation of laws that have since been made. I'm happy that the National Assembly passed the disability law and that Delta State seem to have also adopted same with slight modifications. And I know the same can be said of all the other states, a greater percentage of them in Nigeria. So what has changed should now be the critical question ever since the laws were passed. I can say without equivocation that not much. So I am happy that we have located this town hall conversation within the proper context of trying to move from sympathy to solution. What do we mean by solution in this context? Solution of trying to approach the disabled amongst us from the point of view of equity and also of justice. Equity in the sense that we must evolve a system that is equitable in the context, so that what attains to other will also attain to the other person. We must also try to ensure that certain rules are made specifically for the disabled amongst us. But in the context of that, we must also ask some fundamental questions. And I believe that that will be the basis of this conversation. We cannot just jump to solution. We must ask ourselves some questions. There is ability in disability, as we always say, and disability does not condemn you to a destitute. It doesn't. So when we talk of charity or empathy, we look at people with disability as if they are destitute, but they are not. And you must not present yourselves as such. You must never. So we want to see you rise above your limitations. And that is where you must proceed from. Rise above your limitations on your own. Do not allow yourself to be circumscribed by the disabilities that you are confronted with. It is when you have done that that we can now start thinking of how do we now deal with you. That is where the issue of discrimination can come in. That is where the issue of equitable inclusivity will come in. So you must do one for yourself. Like I told an audience yesterday, way back in 1981 when I was a lecturer at the University of Benin, I had some blind students in my class. And they were able to excel because they pushed themselves beyond the frontiers. They were determined to succeed in life, regardless of their disability. You must put yourself in that bracket before you can now start questioning whether government has done enough for you or not. So these are some fundamental issues that I believe will form part and parcel of the conversation you are going to have today. Answer your own question, then government will answer theirs. I observed coming into this town hall that whatever is outside there in the form of a ramp was just a makeshift. It was not specifically designed. In other words, this hotel was built without consideration for the disabled. It's because of this town hall that they put whatever they put there. These are the people we should be talking to. And so on and so forth. So we must continue to challenge people. It is not only government, private corporations, individuals, collectively and otherwise, members of the community, society. We must continue to lead advocacy so that they can understand that there are certain things that must be done in order to accommodate the interests of the disabled amongst us. It is only when we start doing that that the conversation will be well-focused, well-channeled, and properly driven. On that note, I want to say thank you for choosing Asaba for this town hall meeting. It exposes us to the international plane, and I always want people to come to Asaba because Asaba remains peaceful. And as far as we are concerned, Asaba is still the fastest growing state capital, not just in Nigeria, but in Africa south of the Sahara. On that note, I want to say, with the permission of the organizers, that I hereby declare this town hall meeting open to the glory of God, and I wish you all fruitful deliberation. Thank you.
Please, with due respect, shall we rise to applaud our Royal Majesty, because he has spoken well, words of wisdom from the throne. Nago. Nago. Thank you very much. Before I hand over the microphone to my colleague here, I'd like to let you know that Her Royal Majesty, long before he became the king, over 20-something years ago, had Azinge Foundation, which was geared towards doing what you are doing today, and has been helping the rest privilege, and he only escalated it 2 years ago when he became the Asaba of Asaba. Please put your hands together for him. So, shall we rise? Thank you.
Once again, thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for your patience. I would like to ask that if we have the presidents of JONAP, the different states presidents that are here, can you kindly come and occupy the seats in front, please? Thank you very much. The presidents of JONAP who are here, can you kindly occupy the seats in front as we continue our program? Also, if we have the president of AIDDN, please come forward. From Edo State, I believe we have. Please come forward. We equally have NAPFID from Edo State. Please come forward. Thank you so much. Now we start our program in earnest. I mentioned earlier that our major focus are the people with disabilities who are here with us to tell us their experiences, challenges, expectations, where we were before, where we are now, where we want to be in the future concerning issues of disabilities. We would like to start with the question, for those who are going to be calling forward, we would like you to describe the biggest challenges that you face daily as a person with disabilities. Now, I would like to call Wabofu Chinedu, who is a person with disability community member in Delta State. Chinedu, are you with us? Please come forward. We would also like to call, after Chinedu, Ikenna Orishake, who is also cluster leader, Sian Jonapid in Imo State. And after Ikenna, I would like Kindness Idahosa, who's a member of NAPFID Edo State, Network for the Advancement of People with Disabilities, to equally come forward. Now, I'm calling these people, as they come out, you will see them. They would explain to us what a natural day for somebody like this is, living in their states, living in the country as persons with disabilities.
Hold on. All right. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah. My name is Chinedu Owabofu. I'm from Obiaroko in Ukwane local government area, Delta State. And I'm a stakeholder in the state chapter of Joint National Association of Persons with Disabilities. I want to thank God for this rare privilege to stand before you all. And I pray that my story today will bring a solution to our problem, not more sympathy, as we've always had. Growing up as a person with disability in Nigeria is not funny. I must share my experience. And I grew up to see myself like this, although I wasn't using wheelchair initially, so I was crawling on my both, my hands and my legs, I was crawling. So all through my primary and secondary education, I was privileged to have caring parents who were taking me to school back then, in primary school. But most times they will not turn up coming back to pick me because they have to go after their daily hustling to make ends meet. You know, so sometimes I crawl back home from school. And as a child, I wasn't really seeing it like any big deal. It was like fun for me anyway. But when I started growing up, I saw that it was not normal. And I started feeling the pains of all that. But what kept me on going was seeing where I was heading to. Knowing my target, my goal, pushed me on, even though it wasn't easy. So I pushed my way all through the primary and the secondary stage. So I started looking for admission into the university, and it was really a big challenge to my late mother because she was deaf and dumb as well. And as a result of her situation too, she couldn't access quality education, which affected her destiny and her life. So she was just seeing it impossible for me to go to school crawling to the university. Okay, so I was always assuring her that it's a possibility that I can do it. So unfortunately, the year I got my admission was the year she died. But I pushed. You know, the most challenge I had was I was going to, if you are familiar with the area, I was going to school from Obiaruku to Abraka every day on bike. And not only the stress of moving that distance, but when you get there, you see that you find it difficult to even access your classrooms because they were not disability friendly. You know, most times before I get there, everywhere is filled up. Sometimes I sit outside till lecture will finish. I would still go back home. Most of my exams, I studied on my own. I didn't really learn well as a student of Delta State University, Abraka. Honestly, it was so painful because I wanted to do better, but I didn't have the opportunity to do so. Some of the classes, you will have to crawl a distance before you could access the halls. If you are familiar with Campus 2, you will understand what I'm saying. You have to walk a distance, and bike would just drop me at a point, and you see me crawling, sweating, and feeling bitter and bad inside of me. But at the end of the day, I pushed through. And some classes will be fixed upstairs. You get at the point of assessing the place, you just get confused. But good friends and classmates will always help me to lift me up to the class. You'll be in the class and you'll be thinking of how to come down again. What if these men are no more on ground? How do you go? You know, some of these challenges affected me. I actually planned that after my first degree that I would move immediately for my master's. But seeing what I passed through for my first degree, I lost interest in education, which is a very bad thing. It killed my dream for education. So that thing has kept me till now. I graduated 2008, and till now I've not studied again.
Thank you.
But by the grace of God, I so strongly wish to further my education abroad because I have done my researches and I've found out that they have plans for persons with disabilities, and most of their institutions are disability friendly.
Thank you.
So that is what I'm praying for God to help me to do my master's abroad, to see my educational dreams actualized. So I pray to God that my story today will bring a solution to my people. I don't have enough time. I would have said more, but I will say thank you for this rare privilege. Thank you.
Thank you, Chinedu. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Very quickly, after Chinedu, I'd like to call Ikenna Oriseke. I mentioned earlier. Please, let's keep our conversations short, if possible 3 minutes, so that we can accommodate everybody who we ought to call.
Good afternoon, everyone. Please, I would like to...
Ikenna, please, this way.
Okay, sorry. Please, let me continue from the protocol already established. My name is Honorable Oriseke Ikenna, and I'm a cluster leader in Imo State. And I want to speak today in this particular town hall meeting on the effects and experiences of persons with disability. I know that I don't have enough time, but I will just go straight to the point. You know, when we talk about issue of persons with disability, inclusiveness, accessibility, We talk about it because it is everybody's business. What I mean, disability is everybody's business in the sense all hands have to be on desk, whether you are a person with disability or not. I could remember, let me just say, I just want to use recent experiences. You imagine where God wants to give you a long life as a person who is not a disability person. And you go up to 120, 130, one day, you will be bound, you will be confined to the use of wheelchair or walking stick. And if you are the head of affairs where you said RAM should not be created, how will you use that? I don't want to say maybe you will be disability, you will be a person with disability by accident. I don't want to go through that way. Let me say God gives you a long life and you happen to live 120, 130, 140 as the case may be. You will be confined either with wheelchair or walking sticks. Those places you are the head of affairs to make policies and you refuse to do them. Which one are you going to use? That is the reason disability is everybody's business. When we talk about inclusiveness, accessibility, people look at it as these people are demanding too much. But we are crying for our own and for your own as well, despite it has not happened to you yet. We know why we are saying, imagine where, okay, just like last time, one of the banks in Nigeria, we visited them and we requested for them to put a RAM in their bank. To be surprised, we wrote it as a letter sent to them. They replied us from the head office with their lawyer. And the manager, when we came, the manager said, the manager contacted us to come, that there is a reply, we thought that it's an implementation. They come up with a write-up. The manager said, wait, I will not give you this letter, but I will read it for you. The letter said, we are aware of the disability law of 2018 as enshrined into the Constitution. And we are still enjoying our 5 years given to us for old buildings. And I look at the person, despite you are trying to defend your profession, maybe you are a lawyer, what is, if it happens to you before that 5 years, and you happen to be on this wheelchair, how do you assess that same bank? You want to prove professionalism, but then it is not in any cases. You have to prove that you want to show us that maybe you are educated or you have a point. And I'm telling you recently, that particular bank, the bank is First Bank. As it stands now, the First Bank at Olu in Imo State. That particular bank, as it stands now, they have created those particular RAMs because they were running after that 5 years. They say they are enjoying. But when I visited that bank recently, I dragged that particular RAM with old people who are not even people with disability, but because of the age, they are now confined either with walking stick, because you can no longer jump your legs like your youthful age. You will use that RAM and use the rail to hold your hands to climb up that particular place. You see that people like us who fought for that particular thing cannot, in fact, we now stay on queue to use that particular entrance. That is why disability is everybody's business. If you come, please 1 minute. When you come in other experiences, we face challenges. Transportation. Imagine where you will have your money. You will have your money. If not for this online transportation like Uber, Bolt, and the rest. See, go there and stay on wheelchair and want to book a bike or book a transport. With your money, if you are going to pay more, no transport driver will stop because of the disturbance of getting down from the steering, fold your wheelchair, put it in the boot. With your own money, nobody can do that for you. If you come to my state in Owerri, you find it very difficult. Imagine where you will have, like me, I'm from Owerri West Local Government, but I live in Olo Local Government. But when you come, you have a money to pay for house rent.
you cannot see a house rent that is accessible for persons with disability, both the toilet and the rest of it. We are in this hotel today. Visit other places, shop malls, everywhere. We take off from Kilimanjaro at Owerri. Now, we take off from Kilimanjaro at Owerri, but I cannot access their privacy as I'm talking to you now. The door is too short. How will I stay outside the door to ease myself? These are the things, experiences we are passing, and we hope at the time police is not helping issue, law enforcement agencies are not helping issue. When you hear that they have passed a law of speed limit, tomorrow you see police on the road checkmating the speed limit. Any driver who doesn't have speed limit, they will confine you. But when they say public buildings should have accessibility, nobody is going after them. They will say you people should go and enforce it yourself. Oh. And that is where the problem is. Implementation of this particular law becomes a problem. Thank you and God bless you.
Thank you so much, Ikena. Thank you so much, Ikena. And also I'd like to call Kindness Idahosa from Edo State. Kindness. Kindness Idahosa from Edo State, if she's here. Okay. All right. Now we know that persons with disabilities not just having issues of accessibility, but sometimes because of disability challenges, there are certain opportunities that we get to lose. I know somebody who lost a job opportunity because upon getting to the place, this person was blind. In fact, the security was the one who did not let the gentleman go inside. But the irony of the matter is that this gentleman is a lawyer. But because the security commonized him as a blind man, didn't let him go in, and he lost that opportunity that he was coming in for. And this happened in Lagos. And this is the reason why we're bringing in this question now. The second question I'm asking, have you ever lost an opportunity because of your disability? Now, I'd like to call Christy Uti, who is a member of AIDDN in Edo State chapter. If Christy is here, to please join us. We're talking about if disability has caused you the loss of any opportunities. After Christy, I would also call Philomena Cohen, who's a member from Delta State, and then Shola Idowu from Ondo State.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Ambassador Christy Ego. I represent AIDDN, Edo State. For that very question you asked me, when my boy was about 6 years old, he's unable to walk, I took him to a private school close to us, believing my mom would always help me to bring him back from school. On getting there, the proprietor of the school said, madam, we can't admit your son. And I asked why. He said he's going to intimidate other children, that he will be a distraction for them. So for that reason, he cannot be admitted. I said, are you serious? Even when I'm going to pay the school fees? So I looked for another one some distance away, and they made me to pay extra money, that there is going to be probably a caregiver. And I got to the school one day, my boy messed himself up, and they put him outside to sit down. That alone burst my brain. I tried to look for a private school, but I couldn't afford it. Now he's attending a government school. The floors are always dirty, no windows, no chairs. He's crawling on the floor. So that alone is a big challenge. Thank you. God bless you.
Thank you so much. Philomena, are you here with us? Is Philomena here? Okay. And after Philomena, Shola Idowu, who is from Ondo State, will be joining us very briefly, in 3 minutes, please. We're still talking about opportunities that we may have missed because of our disability challenges.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. My name is Philomena Isioma Konwe. I'm from Asaba here, of Shimili South. And my experience goes like this. Luckily, I was born with a silver spoon. So I went through university and then came out and wanted to work with the bank, in the banking industry. And I applied. Actually, somehow along the line, I got into sports. Let me come to that area. So I got into sports, and after my university in 2000, and I finished university 2000, then I had a break in 2001, so I wanted to lose weight, and I started sports, wheelchair table tennis. You see, when an opportunity is given and the environment is accessible, persons with disabilities can actually achieve a lot. And then when I got into sports, I discovered that I can use a wheelchair to play. It was very comfortable when you're on a wheelchair, you're playing. And I went to my first festival, 2002, and won a gold medal. And with that gold medal, I got a Delta State sponsored scholarship to go abroad and study for my master's. So when I came back in 2005, I felt I was now very ready to work in the banking industry that I really wanted to work in. So I started applying in 2005. And to my greatest surprise, there was two particular, in fact, all of them, when their tests, I will pass their test with flying colors. But when I get to the interview stage, once they've seen me, one particular one said, I can't stop you. You are, in fact, one of the best here that we have interviewed. I want to let you know, but I don't want to stop you here. You will go forward and see the MD. And when I saw the MD was asking me funny questions that I don't know how to answer, but being intelligent enough, I had to say something than say nothing, you know. Then, to my greatest surprise, I left that bank around 11 p.m. and they started giving orders, their letters, they will leave. And the lady said, your letter is ready, but the MD called us not to give it to you. Go back to the MD and tell him that he should give you this job. I sat down there, I thought about it, I said there was no need. They don't want to give me this job, then let it be. I left. But if I have known what I know now, I should have sued that bank. Yes, because that is a way forward, true solution. We shouldn't let these people treat us this way. You can't bring me to a bank and my letter is already ready. Then another one, Union Bank. I wrote their aptitude test. They came out and said somebody had 100 in English here. And that person we are going to employ immediately. You know? And my brother ran to me and said, it's like you've gotten this job. Oh. You are the person that got 100 in English. I said, you must be joking. He said, yes, they just announced it. Now, whoever had 100 in this exam will be employed. I went to the board, I checked it, I had 100 in English. I went to their entrance door, I said, I'm the person that had 100 in English. The man said, are you sure you are the one? I said, yes, now, my name is Philomena Konwe, it's on your board. He said, I'm coming back. This man entered and he didn't come out again. He didn't come out till we left. So, but what am I trying to say? For banks to begin to employ persons with disabilities, they need to make their structures accessible. Because they know, if they don't make it accessible for you, they are going to stress you up, they are going to make things more difficult. The building should be accessible, you know, because most of where they wanted to employ me, as I discovered them, was their headquarters. But all those their headquarters, if you go there, you find out it's not accessible. There's no way they're going to. So we just might be saying employ, but if it's not accessible, they cannot do that. Then coming back to the states, Delta State, I believe they are doing well because by the time I experienced all this, I later got a job with Sports Commission. So, and I know they've been able to employ a lot of disabled persons, and they've made their building accessible, like the new secretariat that we have, Professor Chike Edozier's secretariat. So I give them a big kudos for that, because it means in their next employment, a lot of us here who are qualified, even with an SSC, will get jobs by the special grace of God.
Amen.
Thank you very
so
much.
Philomena. Thank you. Thank you. Very quickly, I'll call Shola Idowu. As we come, please let's be mindful of time as well. And as Shola is coming out, I'd like to recognize certain persons who are here with us. Sir Stanley M. Rapu, who's the functioning PS representing the Honorable Commissioner, Minister of Humanitarian Affairs, Comms, Support Services, and Girl-Child Development, Asaba, Delta State. Can we put our hands together, please? Thank you so much for joining us, sir. We equally have the ASCI. We have ASCI Onwe Buzie Faith, representing Delta State NSCDC Command, Asaba. Can we put our hands together? And of course, we have very popular, even from Lagos, we know him, Bright Edafe, the PPRU of Delta State Police Command. Thank you so much for joining us, representing the Delta State Police Command. Thank you so much for joining us. It's important that we have our security agencies here as well, because our conversations equally concern them. Okay. Thank you. Hold the mic. Let me assist you.
Good morning, everybody. I can't see you. I need your voice. Good morning, everybody. All right, thank you very much. Both online and on-site, thank you very much. My name is Oluwasola Philip Idowu from Ondo State. I am the Secretary of Joint National Association for Persons with Disability. Now, I will just go to my experience straight. I'm the sixth child of the sixth. We are 6 in our family, and I'm the last one. I was born with sight, but by the time, according to my late mom, by the time I was 3 years, the sight is gone. 3 months, please, the sight has left. So I grew up to the life of there is no light. I can't identify light even till now. So, through serious and stress, I was able to graduate from university with the assistance of my elderly ones and even my late mom. Since 2014 that I've graduated till now, I've not gotten a job yet. Now, I've been to several places for a job, but the experience has been bitter. I'm still trusting God, but for now it has been bitter. Like when I went to see a PS in my state and I was begging for a job, she requested for my document, I presented everything, and she told me that we would have helped you, but this work is not for persons with visually impaired. I said, why? Can't I do this job? I can teach. I'm a mass communicator, so I can teach. I can take English language, literature in English, CRS, government, and what have you. But I was deprived that job based on my impairment. And there are places I've been to, both at federal level, even at state level, that the experience has turned down till now. Thank God for my elderly ones that are still supporting, and to the community where I belong. But all I will say to wrap up my words for now, because of time, is this. This bitter experience will only be resulting to hatred. The PWD community will be having hatred to others when we are being deprived our rights. Our right is employment, good job, good education, and to grow with the community. I pray that through this town hall discussion, all these problems will be solved, and there will be testimony after all these tests. We shall triumph after all this trial. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Olaido. Thank you. Thank you so much. As we wrap up this particular segment, the last question I would like to ask the remaining people who are coming is, what would you like, what is it that you want for the government and policymakers to understand? Now, please understand the question very well. What is it that you want them to understand about persons with disabilities? Not just what you want them to do, but what you want them to understand. Excuse me. So I quickly like to call Obiora Faith Ugweke. And as Obiora is coming out, please let Barrister Peter Moneke also be on standby. You can equally come out. Philip Godfrey, and then Ophili Nkemekona. If they are here, please can they come forward? What is it that you would like the policymakers to understand about persons with disabilities? Please come forward.
For all this. All right. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Philip Godfrey, and I'm the convener of Harmony Health Empowerment Foundation. While I observe the protocol, permit me to greet my boss, Sergeant Epele. It's good to see you again. I'm from Bayelsa State. Okay, so straight to the question, what do we want our duty bearers to do and to understand? First, for them to do is to enforce the full implementation of the Act. Even though it's not a perfect document, if they prioritize it, I think it will give us a fresh air. Then what do I want them to understand? I want them to understand that our situation is unique. Many of them doesn't know our situations, and that is where the misunderstanding comes from. I will give you an example. In Bayelsa, there was one time that the traffic is hitting hard because the roads are not much during Seraki Dixon government. And what he did was to close most of the U-turns. So, for example, you are coming to this hall, and this is the entrance. He closed the hall. Then you have to take your wheelchair far. And you know, Bayelsa State, we used to have almost 10-month training season. So assuming you're in your wheelchair, and wheelchair I've not seen yet, I've not seen a wheelchair that have umbrella. I've not seen yet. So assuming you're in your wheelchair, you have to wheel round. It's not only Bayelsa. So I think they lack the understanding of our uniqueness. That's what I want them to understand. And again, I want them to understand the urgency of our uniqueness. According to Mr. Jack Epele, he said the document is there catching dust in Abuja. But we, the life, we are still feeling the impact. Our situation is an urgent situation. Look at a young man that graduated over 14 years is looking for a job. You can imagine what he's going through. And now we are moving from sympathy, empathy to commitment, to actions. So our situation is unique. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Philip Godfrey. Thank you. We equally have, I called Obiora Faith. If Obiora Faith is here, Barrister Peter Moneke also, Ophili, okay, let him come forward. Come closer, come closer, come closer. Okay, it's fine here. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes. This way.
Yes, I am Barrister Peter Moneke, Legal Advisor, Jonapid, Anambra State. What I would like the government to know concerning persons with disability is that the issue of disability needs urgent attention and it needs decisive action. It's not an issue of charity. We have the law already. I would like the government to ensure that this law is enforced with speed, with action. I want to give an instance. Presently, as I'm talking to you, there is recruitment exercise going on at Nnamdi Azikiwe University Teaching Hospital at Nnewi. And persons with disability applied for that employment. They are given employment right now, but they have not considered this law that says that 5% quota will be reserved for persons with disability. Even when I personally, I wrote a letter to the CMD concerning this law and submitted names of persons with disability that applied for this job, none of them have gotten an employment letter. And they are graduates, well qualified. So I would like the government to know that leaving persons with disability without attending to their issue might tomorrow turn around to be an issue that the society will not like. So I would like the government to get up, heads of parastatals, government agencies, to stand up, apply and implement the law to alleviate the suffering of persons with disability. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
All right. Here. Am I okay here? Hello. Good day, everyone. My name is Nkemakonam Ofili. Like many of the speakers have said here today, I wouldn't like to repeat what they have said, but we are here to seek for solution. It is good that our country, Nigeria, have the law, disability law in place, so as Delta State also have the law. But the problem is implementation. If the government will sincerely set up the second part of that law, which is the commission, although it has been set up in the federal, but in the state we don't have it. These are the offices that are charged with the implementation of these laws. Without this law being implemented, it will not go anywhere. Again, for us to succeed as persons with disabilities, we must be considered for everything that they do, especially equal opportunity for education and employment. Somebody have gone to school, suffered, like the stories we heard here today. Many persons have gone through pain just to acquire education, and it will be unfair for such a person not to be employed. So that is why the implementation of the law is very vital. We need this implementation to drive home everything that is captured in that law. Truly, it is not only the government that have the responsibility to drive this change we are talking about. The media, like we are doing here today, have an important role to play in this regard. Media presentation of persons with disability matters a lot. Let the media highlight the ability in persons with disabilities, not presenting us as object of charity. In so doing, people will have that confidence, that belief in the ability of persons with disabilities. Even the private sectors will come in and give employment to persons with disability that will change the narrative. If you look in very well, majority of persons with disability that are employed are largely employed by the government. We need to shift the narrative to equally get the private sector into this narrative that they should employ persons with disability and give reasonable accommodation to all. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Kindness Idahusa, the last person I called. If Kindness is here. And then I've also, before we move on to the next segment, we talked about inclusivity. Everybody here should be included in this conversation. I was just reminded that we have not heard from anybody from the deaf community. So after kindness, very quickly, I will take one person from the deaf community to come and speak about their own experiences, or hearing impaired, I beg your pardon. I'm learning every day as well. The hearing impaired community, or people with hearing impediment, he's going to come. I can use deaf? All right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Okay, kindness Idahosa is here very quickly. Kindness. All right. Kindness is still speaking on what we want the policymakers to understand about our challenges. And after kindness, immediately I will take Edinri Aruokwere from the deaf community or hearing impaired community. Thank you, kindness.
Thank you. My name is Kindness Idahosa. As a person with disability, accessibility has been a major challenge to me. For example, when I went to the law school, the Nigerian law school, I was posted to Lagos campus. Accessibility was a major issue for me. To access the lecture hall, I would need 3 persons to lift my chair. And the restroom, too, was down floor. That means for me to use the restroom, I would need 3 persons, too, to help me down. So as a result of that challenge, I'll see myself keeping urine for hours, even though I knew that that practice was very, very inimical to my health, but there was nothing I could do. So it was a very big challenge for me. And I've also gone to some public buildings too. Outside may look very, very accessible, but the restrooms, they are not accessible. Even a person with a wheelchair like me, you can't even go in. The doors are very, very narrow. I go to the banks, the same thing. I can't make use of their door. It is very, very narrow. So for persons with disability, accessibility is a major challenge for us.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Candy. Thank you. Finally, I will call Edinri Aruokwere.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Edinri Aruokwere. And I'm a lawyer. I'm also deaf, although I can talk very well. I think I had this luck. I was able to develop speech before I became deaf. My immediate elder brother is also deaf. While growing up, we discovered that although my parents wanted to educate us, in Delta State, though we have special schools for the deaf, we lack the teachers. All the teachers in the schools, whether primary or secondary, none of them are sign language, none of them are adept in sign language. So my brother and I, even though my parents put us in those schools, we are never able to gain the better education, just like our hearing compact. So my mother had to be the one to teach us at home for herself. Even till now, my brother had difficulty with reading and writing. I know that some of my people who are deaf, even though they are educated, they still can't, most of them can't read and write that way. I think because they were not able to access better education, just like their hearing counterparts. And another thing, I noticed that when people want to refer to deaf people, they say we are hearing impaired, but we prefer to be just called deaf. Not deaf and dumb, just deaf. We are either deaf or we are out of hearing, not impaired. Our major challenge in this Delta State is education. Apart from education, employment. For the deaf, it's even more harder. Although we can work and go to places, but we can't hear. And when you can't hear, you get left over. There are things that you can never participate in. You may be in the middle of that particular thing, but you don't know what they are talking about because nobody is carrying you along. There are no interpreters either. There was the day my son was sick. I had to take him to the hospital. But you see, because I can't hear, or maybe because I can talk, they assume that I can hear. When I explained to them my difficulties that I can't hear, they were just looking at me like, is this woman lying? They thought I was lying or maybe pretending to get attention. They didn't know. I now told the hospital that as an institution, especially a government institution, you people should have at least one interpreter. When we are talking about accessibility, it's not just about building a ramp to the hospital. Are there people who are going to assist those with disability? Look at me now, I can't hear. I am here, I need medical attention for my son. There is no interpreter to help me. Even though I'm writing, you people are still looking at me like, you are writing very well, you are educated, so are you sure you are deaf? How am I supposed to prove that I'm deaf? So you see, our government, even though they claim they are trying, I'm not saying they are not, because I'm a government employee. Yes, I'm a government employee. But I think they can do much, much better. Even though they promise us 5% of employment, I can stand there and say that 5% is not being met in our state. I know many, many, many people who are living with disabilities who are practically destitute. Their family can't help them because those family probably they also need help. They also need help. They are living in a destitute way. When you go to the bank, you will see them begging. Most of them went to school, but there's no job. Look at my deaf people. Look at all of them. As we are holding this meeting now, many of them are not even paying attention, not because they are not there. It's just like their education lack that quality that they are supposed to have. If they are going to school that are teachers that know how to sign. Sign language is our only means of communication. So I believe that in every institution, whether private or government or any, please, we should have that sign language interpreters or teachers. If the government can do that, we are going to go very, very far. And there will be no need for us to be begging and living destitute. Please. That is what I want the government to help us.
Thank you so much. The community is representing. Thank you very much. Do we have somebody from the sign language, somebody who signs here who can equally speak? Okay. Where is he? Okay. Joseph. Okay. Duke Titus. Okay. Yes, please. Very quickly, Mr. Duke Titus. In 2 minutes, please. The lady spoke about signing, having people, the importance of having people who, who can sign, and what the challenges are with having these people in certain places so far. Is it a problem of the numbers, the lack of availability, not enough people who have studied signing? What exactly is the issue that we don't have that?
All right, thank you very much. My name is Duke Titus. I'm a teacher, a sign language teacher in Madonna School for children with special needs here in Okpanam, Delta State. Sign language, for me, is a very big language right now. We emphasize it anywhere we go. But what I notice as for problems with concerning sign language is that we don't have enough teachers. There are a lot of people who have gone to school to study special education. Some people did their own special education in the area of sign language, but coming back to the society to give back what they have learned, they go away. They find it very difficult to practicalize this, what they have learned. Because sign language itself has to do with not just the manual sign, it also has to do with total communication entirely. Use your body language, use your eye contact, and then you also use every other means in order to communicate to the deaf. So the major problem I think we have is limitation. We have it's very few people who come back to do the sign language in classrooms. And then if you go to the private sector, we have some of them there. Like where I work, we are there. I can attest to about 5 or 6 teachers. So we also did our own training, on my own. I didn't go to university to study sign language. I got a job there just to pass by, and I fell in love with sign language, and I started learning sign language. And I was trained by that center all through to this level where I am now to be able to sign. But the issue there is that there are a few people who can do that, who would love to do that sign. When they see a dead person and say, yeah, you want to talk to the person, they will say, I beg, I don't feel talk to this person. Who go feel help me talk to this person? They find it difficult to communicate because they will feel that, what am I doing with this person? And also I have an experience I would like to give. Usually on Sundays, I interpret for my students in the church. Every Sunday, whatever service they attend, I go with them to interpret. I notice that whenever I'm interpreting, every other eyes are on me. And after the service, people come to ask me, do you speak? Do you hear? So I think that is the major problem the deaf are having. Each time you sign, people, leave them. So I think it's a big problem for the deaf community, and it's affecting them seriously. There are some people who don't want people to sign for them. I have 2, 3, 5 students. When you are signing, they will say, let's do speech. Like the lady that has speech now, let's do speech. So some are reverting, or they are going to speech training so that they can avoid sign language because of what they are suffering from people. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Unfortunately, we cannot take everybody's experience, but I want to believe and I hope that the few experiences we have heard can give us an insight into what persons with disabilities are going through. We're going to move to the next segment now immediately. And almost everybody who spoke earlier talked about, policies and practices. So we want to get some expert contributions from persons who can tell us or who can respond to questions about policies. Questions like, why are the disability laws not working in practice? Questions like, what are the key barriers to implementation? We're also asking, is this a funding or a political will issue? And of course, part of this segment, we also would ask, what immediate steps can be taken to address this? I would quickly like to call on Patience Etumodu, who is the chairperson of the Nigerian Bar Association Lawyers with Disabilities Forum. As Patience comes forward, please, I would like to announce, again, I mentioned at the very beginning, this is a live program, so we are broadcasting live. So please, let us try to minimize the noise, and let us also please put our phones on silent. Once again, I would like to call Patience Etumodu, who is the chairperson, Nigerian Bar Association Lawyers with Disabilities Forum. Thank you so much. After Patience, Professor Vincent Aniogu, who is the DG Institute for National Transformation and the chairman of BOT TAF Africa, would also join us. Okay, let me move the chair if you don't mind. So Patience, we are going, excuse me. I think now I feel what you are going through. Thank you very much. So the question we're asking for this segment is, why are disability laws not working in practice? The laws are there. What is the issue with practice? Very quickly.
Okay. I think, good afternoon, Udu. I'd like to rest on the already established protocol. My name is Patience Nkoyanswa Etumudo. I'm the chairperson of the Nigerian Bar Association Lawyers with Disabilities Forum. And for my colleagues who are visually impaired, I am Some say I'm light-skinned, but I don't think so. I'm a little bit on the dark side. I'm putting on a black gown. I wear a pair of glasses so that I can see everyone clearly. I'm very beautiful. Yes, I know. And I wear a dread. So I hope that suffices for a visual, an audio introduction of myself. Yes, like I always say, we have all the legislations in Nigeria. We do not lack laws in Nigeria. So it is not the problem of legislation. It is mostly the problem of willpower. And like my boss will say, are we ready to do it? These laws are there. It is when the problem is not with the laws, it is with we as individuals, we as a corporate entity, and we as a nation. Not until we decide that we want to implement these laws, we'll still keep grappling with every problem we have. Let's take, for instance, the provision for employment, like he has rightly stated. The Discrimination Against Persons with Disabilities Act 2018 prohibits discrimination on the basis of employment. Like, you are not supposed to discriminate against anyone that needs a job just because a person is a person with disability. It's an offense for which you are supposed to be paying a fine. On education, too, we also have that policy. And as the MBA, recently we wrote an institution, I'm sure most of us saw the video that went viral, of a young student who is visually impaired, and had she applied to a nursing school in Enugu State that she wanted to write their exam. She told them that she needed reasonable accommodation for her to be able to write that examination. Unfortunately, the school, whether knowingly or unknowingly, disregarded everything she told them about. And on that day when she got there, the font size of the questions were not something she could comprehend. She asked for someone to help her read the questions, and they did not provide anybody to. They told her, do the one you can do. You know, this our lackadaisical attitude in Nigeria. Do the one you can do and leave there. And she did. Of course, she came online, complained, and we took up the matter. We've written to the school. They've responded, and we intend to take them to court. We have decided that it is not just for us to advocate anymore. Advocacy is good. We are doing that already as a body, but we want to go a step further to make institutions, especially starting with government institutions, by the time we are able to bring them online, and then they start seeing the need to implement some of these laws, we'll see that things will begin to change. So we're taking them to court. In the next few weeks, I'm sure we'll see the stories online too, that we've taken a body to court for refusing to do what is needful. They are going through the back for them to do, because they know that what they did was wrong. They've gone, through the back to meet with her and ask that she comes back to the school, that they'll give her admission. But luckily, she of course, she told them no, that they should speak with her lawyer, which is my body. So we are working on that. So like I rightly said, it is not a failure of legislation. We have enough legislation. It is implementation of this legislation. It is the political will to implement the legislation that we have. Some states have not even passed the law as we speak. We still have some states that are yet to domesticate the law in their various states. And that's still a problem. Because if you do not domesticate the law, there's no way you can make provisions for persons with disabilities. Nigeria currently has over 35 million persons with disabilities, and every day, one person becomes a person with disability, either by reason of accidents, by reason of the unrest that is currently going on in every part of the country, by reason of illness or one thing or the other. So the rank is increasing every day. And not until we all begin to see this as a problem that affects me, affects you, and affects every one of us, we will not do anything about it. You can be hale and hearty today. Diabetes can make you lose a limb tomorrow. And you're already a member of that community. So now that you have your 2 legs, you have your full body, you have the complements of every part of you, what are you doing to see that every one of us are doing the right thing, that public spaces, malls, shops are being built with disability inclusion in mind, that banks are accessible, and that banks are even employing. We did our conference last year, 2025, and we decided that we want to honor a bank in Nigeria that is disability inclusive, that has disability inclusion as a policy. We're not just talking about one that a parent spoke to because the general manager knows the parents and said, okay, no worry, I'll go employ your picking. No. We wanted it in black and white, that they have policy. And with this, we wrote to all the banks. We could not find a single bank that could come for us to honor them because they had that practice. They had that in practice. We also wrote to some companies too, and it was still the same thing. We would not want to mention some of the, I would not want to mention, going to mention their names, but it was still the same problem we faced, and we realized the fact that we have not started taking disability issues as something that we need to really look into in this country. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I will join you with this. Okay. Thank you. Please, can we put our hands together for her again? And one thing I have learned from her is she described herself, first of all, to those who are visually impaired. I think we should put that into practice going forward, remembering that they too are part of the community. She said, I'm wearing black, I'm wearing glasses, I am in dreads, and I am beautiful. Let's put our hands together again for her. I'd equally like to call Professor Vincent Anyegbu, who is the DG, Institute of National Transformation, and the chairman of BOT TAF Africa.
Good afternoon, everyone. I want to first recognize all the royal fathers who are present. I especially want to appreciate the manager of News Central for organizing this. And finally, I want to recognize my CEO, TAF Africa, Jacob Ele. Thank you so much for what you do. And all protocols observed. I am honored to stand before you today, not just as the chairman of Board of Directors of TAF Africa, and also the Director General of Institute for National Transformation, but as a committed advocate for a Nigeria where inclusion is an aspiration, but not just an aspiration, but a lived-out experience. The theme that I've been asked to comment on is from policy to practice, is both timely and urgent. I don't know about you, sitting here and listening to the challenges of these people, I feel like crying. I feel like saying, what is wrong with our leadership? Are we not sensitive enough in our busyness to attend to their cry? But I believe that moving forward, we shall do so. Nigeria is not short on policies. From Discrimination Against Persons with Disabilities Act to various state-level frameworks, we have made commendable progress on paper, yet lives experienced by millions of persons with disability tell us a different story. One of barriers, exclusion, and unrealized potential. So the question before you and I is very simple. How do we move from intention to impact, from policy to practice? Let me offer just 5 strategic shifts that must occur if we're going to attain that. First, we must move from compliance to commitment. Too often, disability inclusion is treated as a box to be ticked on paper. But it's something that demands regulation. Real change demands conviction. We must first be convicted in our hearts that these are our brothers and sisters whose welfare we must attend to. It must not just be a policy on paper. May God give us the sensitivity to feel their needs. And I think this is what's missing. That when you sit there in whatever position, that you are empathetic enough to do something. And that's my prayer for all the authorities concerned. So inclusion drives innovation, inclusion expands market, inclusion strengthens society. There's actually an explosive business aspect that can come when we begin to look at how to incorporate these our brethren into the society. It will create innovation. It will expand. It will even change the way we see them. Number two, we must institutionalize accountability. Policies without enforcement mechanisms are mere statement of intent. Every MDA must have clear inclusion targets, accessible infrastructure, inclusive hiring quotas, and budgetary allocation for disability programs. And beyond certain targets, there must be transparent monitoring and consequences for non-compliance. Who is going to enforce that? What we get measured gets done. What we neglect is neglected. Number three, we must invest in systems, not just programs. Taking care of the persons with disability involves redesigning the system to include them. Their affairs must no longer be an afterthought, an addendum, but ab initio, we factor them in everything we design. And therefore, there needs to be sensitivity among the professionals from day one that everything we do, we must bring them to the table and factor their, if you will, opinion. They should be part of designing the process, not the people will just think at the end of the process in order to help them. So as I conclude my remarks, there's got to be a major shift in the way we see these brethren. I'm really touched just listening to the story of this woman and how her child was treated. That itself broke my heart. So as the chairman of TAF Africa, I appeal to every organization, government, local groups, let's be more sensitive. In fact, I will conclude with this. Jesus said, when you do this for the least among you, you are doing it for me. If we neglect them, there's a chance that we don't even know God. May God bless you.
Thank you so much, Professor. Professor said that we must ensure that they are part of the policy making, not just members, but part of the policy making. Somebody gave an example yesterday to put in context. How do you have a Ministry of Women Affairs, but 70% of the people in that ministry are men? That's exactly the same example. How do you have a department taking care of persons with disabilities, but 90% of the people in that department are people without disabilities? So we need to start bringing these people to the policy-making table. I would quickly like to call Rex Ekuru, who is the director and board member, Angela's Foundation for People with Special Needs. Professor has said a lot, but we would like you to still add a few more words. What exactly are the challenges here when it comes to the policies, and how can we touch them?
Thank you very much for this opportunity. I'm here representing Angela's Foundation for People with Special Needs, and it is only proper that my wife should have made this address, but because she will need to print in Braille and read in Braille, I've decided to do that on her behalf. I want to start by first thanking News Central TV for this opportunity. It is really a big drop in the ocean. Can we kindly put our hands together for News Central? Secondly, I want to thank the Delta State government, because a lot of those who have spoken are employed by the Delta State government. I know it's Oliver asks for more, but they have done a lot already. It's just that we have a lot of population of people with disabilities. Also, I want to thank the TAF Foundation and Christian Blind Mission. They came around to Delta State sometime last year, and they've been doing a lot of advocacy, especially in terms of inclusion. They visited schools, they visited a lot of places. Can we please put our hands together for them? Very briefly, Angela's Foundation for People with Special Needs, we are actually an eye for those who are visually impaired. We are ears for those who are audio impaired. We are also the legs for those who are mobility impaired. We are doing our best. But as we have this opportunity, we want to ask for the full implementation of the Disability Act in Nigeria and in Delta State. Then, as quickly as possible, the Disability Commission should be set up at both the federal and the state levels. Only with the Disability Commission can we hold somebody responsible for the infringement of any disability law or any disability rights. Until that is done, we are still playing at the table. We really need to work on that. And lastly, and most importantly, remember, there is ability in disability. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. Very quickly, I would like to call Isaac Ojudu. Isaac Oju, I beg your pardon. Isaac Oju is the President Isaac Joshua Initiative for Disabilities, Abuja. Is Isaac around? Okay. If Isaac is not here, I would quickly like to call, of course, Dr. J. Kepele, who is the founder and CEO of TAF Africa, one of our, actually our only partners in this town hall. Thank you so much, Dr. J.
Thank you, Bernard. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, viewers at home. We are so grateful that you're tuning in to listen to this town hall meeting. Let me quickly announce that TAF Africa, in partnership with New Central, will today present wheelchairs and some other items free of charge. We have 45 items. If you're on the list, you will get it at no cost whatsoever to you. My brothers and sisters, let me speak to you from the heart. If we must implement some of the ideas, the policies, the laws that we are talking about today, the beginning of that implementation, yes, is federal, but the onus is on the state. The states have a responsibility to drive the success of inclusion. Let me give you an instance. The federal government have established the commission. The question is, how well funded is the commission? Grossly inadequate. The states, many have not established the commission, including Delta State. And I'm using this opportunity to call on the governor of this wonderful state. And I know he's doing a good job. But sir, we need the commission, and we need it now. Finally, let me talk about the 5% employment threshold. First of all, let me correct an impression. The Act did not say 5% in context. The Act says not less than 5%. That means you can do 50%. That means you can do 20%. That means you can do 10%. But this is what you will not do. You cannot reduce that 5%, no matter what. Again, I want to say that the Delta State government have reached out to us. Thank you, my good friend Charles. Thank you, the Attorney General. You are reaching out to us, assuring us that what looks like a mistake in signing the 1% in place of 5%, that mistake will be corrected beginning with this town hall meeting today. Delta State, you champion everything, and you should champion ensuring. And that's what leadership is all about. When a leader makes a mistake, he withdraws from that mistake and brings correction. So ladies and gentlemen, if there's one thing that this town hall meeting must achieve, is that at the end of this wonderful initiative by Kayode and his team, that Delta State government will come up and say, by Monday, there will be a new law that have corrected 1% to 5%. That Delta State will come and several other states to say that a person with disability will get the place of their employment which they deserve. Ladies and gentlemen, I end with this. Is it possible to see a person with disability become the president of Nigeria? Say with me, it's possible. Is it possible to see a person with disability become the Senate President of Nigeria? Is it possible to see the Speaker of the House of Representatives as a person with disability? Is it possible to see us as a governor? Is it possible to see us in the State House of Assembly? Is it possible to see us as chairman of a local government? It is possible.
If you believe it is possible, your applause should be louder than this. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Dr. Epele. Last on this particular category, I will call Isaac Ojudu. Isaac is here already. President of Isaac Joshua Initiative for Disabilities in Abuja. Isaac.
Hello. I am very happy to have this privilege to make my submission. I want to start by saying that I was the youth coordinator of the Nigeria Association of the Blind, Delta State chapter, from 2018 to 2025. And I committed myself to serious advocacy together with the body of the NMB. And our effort yielded good results. During the administration of Okowa and the current administration, many persons with visual impairments have been employed. I want to appreciate the government, but that is not enough. Respecting the Disability Prohibition Act signed into law 2018, it has not been fully implemented. On the basis of that, it still remains just a mere recognition of persons with disability, not that a law that is fully written to carry us along. So my passionate appeal for the federal and the state government is to fully implement that policies. For sure, it will change our narrative. And also, one thing I want to appeal for the state government and the federal government is to create a special seat in the National House of Assembly and State House of Assembly, a special seat for persons with disabilities. Because you cannot initiate law that will improve our life without us being in the seats of initiating those laws. And I'm also pleading to extend it to the local government level. Supervisory council law, persons with disability can serve in that position. Council law, persons with disability can also serve in that position. We are qualified. We are educated. So we ourselves, we persons with disability, we will be doing our best to make sure we continue to call for the state government and the federal government to implement those laws so that the narrative will be changed for better. One more thing, Delta State government should try to make every tertiary institution in Delta State free for persons with disability, and also make the environment accessible for persons on wheelchair. Thank you, and God bless you.
Thank you so much, Isaac. Thank you so much. Thank you. As we make progress, we'll move to the next segment immediately. And now we are talking about awareness. We know that there are many NGOs and CSOs that work with persons with disabilities. We are looking at the awareness that they create and how they can actually make advocacy, or rather turn advocacy into action. And there have been some accusations about some NGOs taking advantage of persons with disabilities. This is also something that we would like to address. So very quickly, the issues we are going to be addressing. Why is awareness still low at this level? Also, we are looking at how do we shift from charity to rights, to actually giving persons with disabilities their rights. And then we want to also touch on what role should the media play. And finally, what should NGOs do differently from what they are doing at the moment. We have a list of NGO representatives here. We will call as many as we can while still managing our time. I'd first like to call on Barrister C.U. Ekwelem, who is the chairman of Jonaped Imo State Chapter. After him, I would like to call on Melody Omosa, Executive Director, NAPVID, Edo State, and then Ekwase Wisdom, who's the Acting Chairman, AIDDN, Edo State. Thank you so much. Please, let's try and manage time. 3 minutes, if possible. Please, before we continue, I would like to mention again, let's try and maintain silence in the hall, please. Let's try and reduce our movement and our loud conversation. It's a live program. Whatever we do or say here is beamed across the world live. Thank you.
Okay, once again, good day, ladies and gentlemen. My names are Barrister Chidubem Uzodimma Ekwelem. By the special grace of God, I'm the chairman of Joint National Association of Persons with Disabilities, Imo State Chapter, Jonaped. Jonaped, progress. Permit me to stand on the existing protocol. I want to appreciate the New Central and the other stakeholders for arranging this town hall meeting. I think this is an inspiration for us. This is going to go a long way to see us as part and parcel of the system. When these kind of town halls are being organized, it gives us more confidence that there are people who are seeing us as part of the critical stakeholders in this journey. So far in my state, let me just start from my state. I came here with the cluster leaders as directed, and we've been trying to change the old order. In the course of our coming in, we said that disability should not be a beggarly concept. Over time, people see persons with disability from the charity-based model. And that's even when I came here, I had to see my senior, my legal, my chairperson of Nigerian MBA Lawyers with Disability. And you can agree with me that Lawyers with Disability had one of the best conferences in Asabaya some time ago, courtesy of my boss here. So this is to show you that we are migrating from that charity-based model to issues of engagement, because most of us has a lot to offer. And it's just because of we have not been allowed to extract our God-given potentials. That is why most times people now see us from the charity-based. Like in my state, in Imo State, we've had a very serious, aggressive advocacy. As I'm talking to you, every Wednesday, we engage with the people, the community, in the radio stations. We pay for it. We don't ask begging people. We said we have to do it for ourselves. Because when they see us doing it, they will now know that they are not coming to dash us money, but they are coming to engage us. Say, you must be part and parcel of this system. You must be in the policy making. I had to lead a delegation to Federal Polytechnic Mekede. I secured 14 employments for persons with disability. We did not do it just because we are begging. We told them that this is our right. It's not a privilege. So when we come, we are demanding for our right. We are not coming to tell you, come and give us. So this period, I want to charge each and every one of you. If you have people, if you have public institutions in your areas, if you have government agents, approach them. These are no more the time of disabled must go and start doing protests. Nobody has that time for protest. You must engage them in their various offices. You cannot see somebody like me and I'm coming to your office, you tell me that I'm dirty, I should get out. You cannot do that. But it's only when you start begging, writing, please, you want to come here, you want transport that will come here. Whereas they're having your millions naira and you are begging for transport. So you see they have already categorized you. They have already taken you where you belong to. But when you tell them that this is our right and this is what belongs to us, if you don't give it to us, see what is going to happen. You will see, before you know, they will from backyard call somebody that can reach you and say, okay, how many are you? How can we do this and that? So please, what I'm trying to tell this audience this day is let us be more committed. Let us be very, very aggressive in our advocacy that has to do with persons with disability. Let us continue to engage instead of protest. Because the moment we engage, they will see those God-given potentials hidden in us. And from there, we can change the narratives. God bless you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Is Melody around? Melody Omosa. After Melody, we take Ekwase Wisdom. Very quickly. Let's keep our conversations as short as possible. 3 minutes. Abiodun Samuel Olusegun, is he here? Okay. Okay, Melody is on her way. Apologies. Melody is on his way.
Melody is here.
Please go ahead.
All right, thank you very much. Good afternoon, everyone. And I want to quickly pay tribute to the New Central TV for putting this program together and also permit me to stand on the existing protocol. I came from Edo State. I'm the Executive Director of Network for the Advancement of People with Visible Disabilities, NAPVADE, and we are here on a very strong delegation. The chairman of the Edo State Commission for Persons with Disabilities, Theophilus Egbedion, and other staff of the commission are also here on this delegation. But quickly to the reason we are here this afternoon. I want to salute the contribution of speakers before me on the issues so far. It's already agreed that we are not bereft of frameworks, whether legal or administrative. They are not in short supply in any way. It's also been identified that implementation seems to be the bane of persons with disabilities as far as laws and policies are concerned. And we need to ask the critical question, what is the way forward? Should this be another workshop end and we'll come together again to talk about the need for implementation? I think that it is the duty of civil society organizations, non-governmental groups, and indeed the ultimate duty is on the Commission of Persons with Disabilities all over at the national and state level to ensure that laws that have been enacted by the national and state houses of assemblies are implemented. Don't just ask for implementation. Ask for what is being done to put life to these laws. If, for instance, the Discrimination Against Persons with Disability Prohibition Act of 2018 has made public buildings, made it mandatory for public buildings to be accessible to all persons with disabilities, including those who use wheelchair. There is a period of 5 years moratorium transition period, which is lapsed since 2024. This is the 8th year of the establishment of that act. As I speak, public buildings still go up today without complying with the minimal accessibility features that we should have. Who authorized or sanctioned those buildings to be constructed without ensuring the laws are there? It's been criminalized, but what is being done? I think that civil society, non-governmental organizations, and indeed lawyers should come together for us to begin to have public interest litigation. This needs to be tested. It is time that the law should be tested for what it is. If there are people that are running counter to the law, that are running foul to the law, that have infracted the law, then the court should so pronounce and let there be penalty. Until that is done, we will continue to talk about implementation. We are talking about laws being implemented. Is there any budgetary provision to ensure that there is, for instance, retrofitting of public buildings? Let us find out the 2026 budget. What do we have, not just for the commission to run, but for all ministries, departments, and agencies of government to see that they are taking pragmatic steps to make, for instance, their public buildings accessible to persons with disabilities. These things will not happen automatically. We need to be interested in building inclusive systems. We have persons with diverse needs, and disability is a social construct by virtue of our law, the National Disability Act. The Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities has made disabilities a social construct. That is, it is a societal problem because it is when barriers deliberately posed by society interfere with the impediment of persons with disabilities that you see disability. If we are talking and in a high-rise building and there are elevators that are working, no one will remember that, for instance, a kindness Idausa is on a wheelchair because she can access. If she can't access because there are no ramps and elevators, you say she's one with a disability. Can we please build inclusive systems so that whether there's anyone with disability or not, anybody that has right to use that place should be able to access it without problem. So we must have budget projects. Let me end with this. Why I joined my voice to ask that the Delta State government should without delay establish a commission for persons with disability. Such commissions first must be properly funded. They must be made effective to be able to perform their regulatory and supervisory roles of MDAs, all ministry, department, and agencies. But I want to call on Mr. President, the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, His Excellency, President Tinubu, Ahmed BAT, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFRO, to please immediately relocate the National Commission for Persons with Disabilities from the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Eradication to the Presidency as envisaged by Section 31 of the Discrimination Against Persons with Disability Prohibition Act of 2018. It should not be made, that agency commission should not be made an appendage of a ministry. It should supervise other ministries, and the law says it should be under the presidency. What is the National Assembly oversighting? Is this not an error? If that commission is not in the presidency, it cannot attract the funding it deserves, and it cannot have the power to regulate other MDAs of government. I so submit. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Before we move on, I'd quickly like to recognize a few people who joined us while we started, or rather while we're in the course of the program. I have Theophilus Ebodion, who is the chairman, Edo State Commission for Persons with Disabilities. We also have, who has joined us in our midst, Comrade Omo Obruche Isaac, who is the Senior Special Assistant on Disability Affairs to the Executive Governor of Delta State. Thank you so much. I equally have Comrade John O. Patrick, who is the Jonapid Chairman, Ugeli North Local Government Area. We're also joined by Patience, I've mentioned that before, Patience Etumodu, who is the Chairperson, NBA Lawyers with Disabilities Forum. Thank you so much for gracing our stage. We equally have Tosa Mene, Deputy Director, Attorney General, Commissioner, and Commissioner of Justice, Delta State. Thank you for coming. Rapu, who is the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, Community Support Services, and Girl Child Development, Asaba, Delta State. And I think finally here I have Frederick Odiachi, who is representing Honorable Ifechukwu Bridget Anyafulu, member representing Oshimili South State Constituency, Delta State House of Assembly. And last but not least, I equally would like to recognize, I beg your pardon, the presence of His Royal Majesty Henry Kikwachuku, I hope I pronounced it right, Obi, of the Ubulu Uno Kingdom, and the second Vice Chairman, Traditional Rulers Council in Delta State. Please forgive me if I didn't pronounce the name. But to compensate, can we put our hands together for him, please? Thank you so much. And as more people come, we will recognize them. But straight to the program, as we need to move on. Still in this particular segment, we are talking about NGOs and CSOs. I would equally like to call, as I called Ekwase Wisdom and Abiodun Samuel Olusegun, if they are around, and then Ugochukwu Ernest Okeke. Very quickly, in 3 minutes, we are talking about NGOs, CSOs. What are we doing wrong? What should we do right? Awareness. Where are we with awareness? How low has awareness been? How quickly can we move it? Let's have your name, please.
Thank you very much. First, I want to say a very big thank you to News Central for this initiative, for this town hall meeting. My name is Wisdom Ekwakse. I'm the acting chairman of AIDDN, all the way from Edo State. And before I proceed, let me stand on existing protocol. I also want to thank our Honorable Chairman of the Disability Commission in Edo State, Honorable Theophilus. He's been doing marvelously well in Edo State. A few days ago, we were in his office to pay him a courtesy visit, and he received us with a warm heart. Sir, thank you very much for the job you are doing well.
You have 2 minutes more.
Having said that, there's something I need to let the ask know. When you talk about this Disability Commission, it's not just all about talking. We must ensure that across all the states of the Federation, the Disability Commission is funded. That is the major thing. Our state governors must take up the responsibility. It's not just creating a commission and they are just there without funding. What do you expect them to do? So you must empower them with funding. And when these commissions are funded, you see that they will run. And one of the other challenges that this commission has also faced, you discover that we're talking about Disability Commission. Most of these persons need assistive device, which ordinarily they will not be able to fund from their personal pocket. So that is where government comes in. So our prayer here is everything that we have all said today is for our government to give us a listening ear and to empower the commission so that they can run. So if they empower the commission, you discover that all these things we are just saying, everything will be autopilot. Thank you very much, and God bless you.
Thank you so much. Abiodun Samuel.
Good afternoon, everybody. First of all, my name is Abiodun Samuel, like they have said. I'm the UNAP chairman on those states. I want to appreciate the organizer of this program, the New Central, in collaboration with PAF Africa. So we appreciate you. In the areas of NGOs, there roles. To be sincere, it's not everything that government we do. NGO, they are in the position to amplify our voices. For example, now, we are talking of the disability law. In all those states, we have a gazette that established the Agency for the Welfare of Persons with Disability, but it's just a gazette. The gazette is just meant for the establishment of that agency. Some of the content is not there, like that of the federal. Now, we are trying to synergize with an NGO, Disability Not a Barrier Initiative, DINABI, ably headed by Engineer Olajide from Ekiti State. So we had series of engagement with the policymakers, with CSOs, stakeholders, and persons with disability also. So we have been able to come up with a kind of draft. As I speak with you, it's in the Law Commission of the state. It has not been, it has not get to the State House of Assembly for reading, for passage. So that is it. The roles of NGO is very, very key. It's very, very important. They are our mouthpiece, and they are trying. Then, in the areas of policymaker too, like what the last speaker have just said, the issue of funding is very, very paramount. In my state, for example, in 2024, we have a budgetary provision in our agency to the tune of 333 million. I want to tell you, we are not able to access a dime from that budget. So that prompts us to, a series of, courtesy visit has been written to Mr. Governor for us to even know some of our challenges. But unfortunately, we don't know. The letter will not get to Mr. Governor. It was when we now came out publicly that the governor now said he's very sorry that some of the requests we are talking about, he did not see it, that is not due his attention. And he now promised that henceforth, he will ensure. It was then we now started receiving some of our budgetary allocation. So that is the truth. Funding is very, very paramount. We have an agency. If they don't fund them, nothing can be done. So, thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Abiodun. Ugochukwu Ernest Okeke. Okay. Yes. You need to sit.
Good day, all. My name is Comrade Ugochukwu Ernest Okeke, and by the special grace of God, I am the state chairman of Joint National Association of Persons with Disabilities, Anambra State Chapter. Let me also join my colleagues to thank the organizers of this program. It has been a wonderful engagement. And going straight to the question that was asked, concerning what is expected of the media, civil society organizations, and policymakers to do, to make things better for persons with disabilities. I will also thank my state government, Anambra State, for being the first state in the southeast to have disability law that protects the rights of persons with disabilities. And I know that since that law was passed, we have made some significant progress, but we are not yet there. In terms of awareness creation, JONAPID on their own have been doing wonderfully well to, create a wonderful awareness, to let people know the existence of that law. But the media partners we have in Anambra State are also wonderful. They have been supporting and helping us. But there is something we want them to do more. In most cases, some of them, more especially those that are not owned by government, they would like to talk about our issues without involving us. So I think it is better, changing the narrative for the media practitioners to always involve persons with disabilities to talk about their issues, not them talking about, not that they will not talk about it, but involving us so that we can collaborate with them to talk about those issues. Then again, for NGOs, most times, some NGOs do what we call integration in their approach instead of inclusion. What do I mean by integration? They will be planning programs for persons with disabilities, and they would like to invite us to come and talk about our issues. They will not bring us at the table for us to discuss with them how that program, will fit us. Then they will now tell us about the program and expect us to fit in if we want. So that is integration. But when we're talking about inclusion, they have to bring us on the table. We talk about it, plan the program together so that they will know, because most times when we go to their programs, we discover that most of the facilities where they're having the program are not accessible to persons with disabilities. And most times they don't even invite interpreters. So these are the things we need them to do going forward by making their plans inclusive of persons with disabilities, so that when we collaborate together, we achieve a greater result. Thank you so much.
Thank you so very much. Thank you. I'd quickly like to call Ogbogene Emomoboye Joy, Chairman, Albinism Association of Nigeria, Bayelsa State. And after that, Ernest Igbuzo, Chairman, JONAPID Delta State Chapter. After Ernest, Udeozo Uju Dillian, who is a member, Courageous Girls, Women and Children Initiative. These three will come, and then we'll be wrapping up this segment and moving on to the next one. And after this segment, we would be going to solutions and way forward. In that particular segment, yes, you can say amen. In that segment, we'll be speaking to in that segment, we'll be speaking to those who would help us seek solutions and seek the way forward.
All right. Standing on existing protocol, my name is Ogbogene Emomoboye Joy. So, for CSOs, I think whatever we preach, we should practicalize it. And I will use an an illustration of something that happened in Bayelsa. In this month of March, an NGO organized a program for women with disability, celebrating women with disability on Women's Day. So on that program, 50 women with disability were invited, which they turned up.
Please, can we keep the noise down? I'm sorry. Please, can we keep the noise down, please? Please, can we keep the noise down?
So when it gets to refreshments, 2 refreshments were served. For the women with disability, they were just given buns and water, while others were given a pack of rice. So if the NGO society is preaching inclusivity, why should you practice discrimination? To me, that is discrimination. If you can't afford rights for everybody, then let the balls be given to everybody. So don't make the people feel like they are beggars. Practice what you preach. In a skill acquisition training that was held last year, while training the women, a statement like, now that we have trained you, don't come and beg me for money. It was not a charity case. So even for the NGO space, let's do well to act the way we are preaching it. Show example. And I will deviate a bit, talking about law enforcement agencies. On my way coming, our vehicle was stopped. I am a person with albinism. The sun is it's not easy on me. And a police officer stopped us, checking our papers. He was doing the job that is not meant for a policeman. So I felt maybe he doesn't know the persons inside the car are people with albinism. And I came out, walked towards him, only for me to discover that he just held our driver down, making call. He kept us there for close to 20 minutes under that scorching sun. So everybody, including CSO, policemen, everybody has a role to play. Don't just talk about everybody, all hands should be in there, all hands should be in there. Practice it. In your own little space, do what you say should be done. Thank you.
Thank you very much. It's interesting that you mentioned security operatives because they are the ones we would call in the next segment just before we move on. But before then, Ernest Ibuzo, if you are around, we'll quickly take Ernest.
I want to stand on the already existing protocol. I'm Comrade Ernest Ibuzo. I'm the State Chairman, Joint National Association of Persons with Disabilities. And before I go ahead, I also want to welcome my co-chairman from Ondo, Anambra and Imo. You are highly welcome to Delta State, the Big Heart. For the community of persons with disabilities, great Jonah Pid. Greatest of the greatest Jonah Pid. Great Igbigbi. Great Igbagba. I greet every one of you. Yeah, you are all welcome to Delta State. First and foremost, I want to appreciate the organizers of this program, most especially TAF Africa, for bringing light to the community of persons with disabilities in Delta State. This is the first time we are working with an NGO that is very proactive. They are the ones even disturbing us, waking us from our bed, telling us to do the news. Please, a round of applause for TAF Africa. They have really encouraged the community of persons with disabilities here in Delta State. Before now, there is this mentality of engaging and agitation. Not that constructive, because of the lack of political will of our brothers and sisters who are in authority. The lack of not giving keen interest to the issues of persons with disabilities. But when they observe that there is a benefit, that's when they will remember that they have a brother or a sister who has just been bereaved, that they want to empower with the slot of a person with disability. And it's an aberration. So we thank God that there is a paradigm shift. We have left the era of agitation If you agree with me, some years back, if you happen to stay in Asaba, you can just wake up one morning and see persons with disabilities flooded the streets of Asaba or mounting major roadblocks at strategic points. But over the years, there has been this shift. Now we are doing constructive engagement, and it's paying off. And with the help of South Africa, we are doing well. And the state governor as well. Our Julius Berger governor, Dukodo himself, has done so much for the community of persons with disabilities. And he did say during his inaugural speech that he's going to pay 25% keen interest to the issues of persons with disabilities, which has been happening. But the problem we have here in Delta State, and those at the end of affairs, those he has appointed to manage these parastatals, these MDAs that has one or two things to do with the community of persons with disability. There is this hold back when it has to do with issues of persons with disability. That is why you see, at the end of the day, we resort to agitation. We begin to tell them, if you don't do it, we'll come and disturb you. And we felt it's not even the best way. And we called ourselves together and we looked at it holistically. That's something that we can get easily by advocacy and constructive engagement. Why agitate? Why block the road? Why engage these people with a language that is not suitable before we get what we want? So, as it stands, the community of persons with disabilities here in Delta State constitute about 20% of the population of the entire state. We have so many of us who are unemployed, so many graduates who are unemployed, but we are trying our best. In line with that 5% policy, we've been able to employ so many of our members through engagement. Then some of them have been trained and given starter packs. Recently, the law was passed. It was signed into law. That was 2024, December 2024. But there are some little setback that as it has to do with the law. The 5% policy that we'll be enjoying has been reduced to 1%. We, at the national level, and UN Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disability is advocating for inclusive education, while in the law is exclusive. They are advocating for exclusive education where they have to build special schools for our people. And the commission that is to be created, the executive secretary at the National Commission on Persons with Disability, the executive secretary is a person with disability. But here in Delta, they said it's a civil servant that will mount that office. And it's an aberration. So these are some of the setbacks that we have as it has to do with the passage of the law. And we are very hopeful. We have been engaging the relevant agencies with the support of TAF Africa. And we are very hopeful that in no distant time, they will do the needful. So far, so good. We are on the right path as it has to do with issues of persons with disabilities in Delta State. God bless everyone.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much. The last person I will call on this category is Udeozo Uju Dilian, member, Courageous Girls, Women and Children Initiative. After this, we'll move straight to our security agencies, who will speak to us on how best security agencies can be helpful to persons with disabilities or to the general community of persons with disabilities.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Standing before you is Udozo Ujudilan on behalf of Courageous Girls, Women and Children Initiative. We thank the organizers of this program, New Central, and every individual represented here. We are all doing well. Let's draw a notice to the government, which is the most important person. We need their urgent attention. We need to advocate to the government that both disability and ability has the equal rights as a citizen of this nation. And they should not be excluded in every given opportunities given to the ability, because we are all equal. For one to be a citizen of this country, the person, whether you are disability or your ability, should be given the same opportunity. Take, for instance, when a lady came and narrated her grievances as a lawyer who has the opportunities and also merited for that particular employment. But because she was not able to do what others did, or she did according to her, but when her presentation appeared before the MD of the company, she was disqualified. It doesn't supposed to be so. For their own personal trauma, when you don't treat them well, they get traumatized. So we are advocating for the fundamental rights of the disability challenged person. They should be given the equal rights. If there's any sharing in the local government, whether the ability, whether the disability, they should be carried along, and the sharing should be equal. If there is employment in governments or even in private sectors or in any different organization, they should be carried along because they are not less privileged. They are not being messed. Most of them are graduates, even more intelligent than those who are called the ability ones. But because of that physical challenge, you see them pending one side. You see them giving an odd treatment. So on behalf of Courageous Girls, Women and Children Initiative, I stand here to advocate for them that it is a total wrong on their side, and the government and my co-NGAs should sit up. Let us stand on behalf of these disability people to fight for them. When it comes in terms of running, we can run faster than them. When it comes in terms of walking, we can walk faster than them. So let us be the backbone. Let us be the stand force. Let us be the speakers in terms of moving, in terms of acting, so that at the end of it, they will not feel less privileged, because they are not. They are not opportunity to be ability. Doesn't make them a lesser persons. So we encourage my co-NGOs. This is a tax on each and every one of us. We need to stand, speak, act, and work for this person to be in better equal rights with us. Thanks, and God bless you all.
Thank you so much. Thank you so very much. Before I quickly go on, I would like to recognize the presence of Mr. Shedrack Azemoho, who is the Deputy Director, Social Welfare Rehabilitation Department, Women Affairs. Thank you so much for joining us, Mr. Shedrack. Now, very quickly, we are gradually coming to the close of today's program, but we cannot go forward without talking about our security operatives. The lady who came just a moment ago talked about how they were stopped by the police and kept under the sun for almost 20 minutes, knowing that these are persons with albinism and how dangerous the sun can be to them. I'd like to call on none other than the Public Relations Officer of the Police, Delta State Police Command, Mr. Bright Edafe, to come and speak with us on how our security operatives can be helpful and useful to persons with disabilities. As he comes forward, can we please put our hands together?
Good afternoon, respected ladies and gentlemen. I am SP Edafe Bright, and I'm the Police Public Relations Officer for Delta State Police Command. I'm here on behalf of the Commissioner of Police and, by extension, the top hierarchy of the Nigerian Police Force, domiciled at the Force Headquarters, Abuja. It's important to be here, and I also want to, on behalf of the police, thank New Central and also TAF Africa. This initiative is not a small one. This initiative is not a small one. I was touched deeply by the first speaker. I was deeply touched, and I was almost moved to tears. Somebody once said that if we have not put ourselves in somebody's shoe, we will not understand what that person is going through. But when you do that, you understand why it is good to treat everybody fairly and equally. And that's why in the Nigerian police force, about 2-3 years ago, there was a meeting between the top hierarchy of the force and the PWD, yes. And it was agreed that we establish what they call the DDO, Disability Desk Officers. For the first headquarters, it is headed by the first PRO himself, while for every state command, it is headed by the Police Public Relations Officer. So I am here not just as a representative of the police, I'm also here as a Disability Desk Officer. And that's why the letter was immediately directed to me. And this is not my first time interfacing with many of us here. Whenever they are having events, I'm always there. I'm invited and I'm always there. But it's most important to note that the Nigerian police force, though not perfect, there's no institution that is perfect all over the world. But we are doing our best. And that is why that office has been established at the command headquarters. And I'm responsible for that. For the lady who came out to complain, I'm your go-to guy. When you're having issues that borders on security, that borders on policing, that borders on crime among you or among other people, always reach out to the police force, Delta State Police Command, through the office of the PPRO. Before I leave here today, I will drop my phone numbers. You can always call. Anyhow you want to reach me, just reach me. 2 years ago, there was a case of a woman who couldn't walk. I don't like to refer to anybody as crippled. She couldn't walk. So she came and she said 4 of her children were stolen from her. And they needed to go to Anambra and to Kogi. And they were having issues with funds. And she came to the headquarters and nobody was talking to her until I entered there. And somebody brought it to my knowledge. I looked at the woman, I looked at her letter, I looked at her situation. She couldn't do much, but she needed help. And I went to the CP and said, sir, we must help this woman. The CP then brought out 500,000 naira. And we went down to Kogi State to rescue that woman's children. That is why it is very, very important to know where you channel your complaint to. You may think that we do not have that set up to attend to your matters. No. Knowledge is power, and that's why I'm here today to tell you that whenever you're having issues that borders on policing, that borders on security, not just in Delta State, in the 36 states of the Federation and the FCT, please go to your PPRO's office. They are the one that has been mandated to attend to your security need. Thank you.
You said you will drop your number, sir.
Okay, yes.
Please listen and take the number of the PPRO. Our solutions have started coming now.
But I have a request. Just save the number. Call me only when you need to. Please. Please, so that my phone will not crash. 081 310 701 22. 081 310 701 22. Please, this number are for people domiciled in Delta State. I'm made to understand that we have some people outside that are watching us live. Get the phone number of your command's PPROs handy. Whenever you're having issues that you need the police assistance, please call them, go to them, and I can guarantee you that they will attend to you professionally. God bless you.
Thank you so much. Please, can we put our hands together? So now we know that it has started. If we have issues concerning security for persons with disabilities, the police is our friend in that case. We're gradually wrapping up, and now, as I mentioned, we are seeking solutions. And so we're going straight to the next segment, which borders on state government. Please, can we bring down the noise? Can we bring down the noise? We are gradually coming to the end of the program, please. Let's bring down the noise. My producer has told me we have 20 minutes to go. So everything else we are going to wrap up in 20 minutes. Now we're going to solutions, as we mentioned from the very beginning, and we're looking at state government first. We're asking about responsibilities, solutions, and the way forward. From conversations to commitment, we're asking that our government officials, our policymakers now have listened to everything we had to say. It is time to seek solutions and to commit. The questions we're asking under this segment: what steps have been taken towards the implementation of our laws? What is being done about the accessibility issues that have been mentioned? Is this at least 5% employment quota enforced? And if it's not enforced, why are we not enforcing it? What should success look like when it comes to achievement of these goals? And finally, how do we ensure accountability when it comes to people not meeting up to their duties? These are the questions we are trying to pack in this segment. Very quickly, I would like to call Theophilus Egbodion, who is the Chairman, Edo State Commission for Persons with Disabilities. Please, can we put our hands together for Mr. Theophilus as he comes forward?
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Theophilus Egbodion, Commission Chairman for Persons with Disability Edo State. I'm the pioneer chairman for Persons with Disability Edo State. I'm happy to be here. Unfortunately, today, make it 1 year in the office. I say this is the best place to come and celebrate 1 year in the office, to be amidst of my people. So I'm very happy to be here. I thank Senator Monde Ukpewu, the Executive Governor of Edo State, to create this commission for persons with disability. It's always good for each state to have a commission. If you have a commission, problem for persons with disability is already less because they know where to go to. Another thing is to have a commission. Another thing is for the government to fund the commission. If the commission is funded, persons with disability in all the states will not have problem. For the 1 year I've stayed in the office, my governor have really done well. I'm able to employ 10 teachers in the local government. I'm able to employ 18 local government staff, special advisor in the 18 local government to the governor. So agriculture, we are able to do well, give some people a plot of land if they're interested in farming. Another thing I want to say, this town hall meeting, if it's possible to invite the state government, educate them. A lot of them don't even know more about persons with disability. If they know and they know what to do, I don't think we'll have problem. Because for me, for persons with disability, supposed to be given priority in anything we are doing. It's not for you to go to an office and start waiting. It's not meant to be so. They're supposed to have listening ear for persons with disability. I believe if all the state governments have listening ear for persons with disability, we will not have any issue in all the states. Thank you very much.
Before you go, I would like to ask, we said solutions and commitment. It's 1 year in office for you. Is there anything you will be taking back to the executive governor, Senator Monde Ukpewu, about what more needs to be done for persons with disabilities in Edo State? We want you to commit.
There's a lot to be done because most of the buildings are not accessible for persons with disability. In that aspect, there are a lot to be done.
We will take back our message to him, and we hope that in 1 year, should we come back or come to Edo State, we will see those improvements.
Yes, by the grace of God, because our governor is a governor that have listening ear.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
Can we put our hands together for him? And we will hold the Edo State government to that. Thank you. Before we go to Delta State, the Delta State government representative, please forgive me, I missed this call, and I would like to call on His Majesty Obi Kikachuku, Henry Afamefune. He said I murdered his name, so I've been practicing it to call him back. His Majesty Obi Kikechuku Henry Afamefune. He's the Obi of Ubuluno and the second Vice Chairman, Delta State Council of Traditional Rulers, to please come forward and tell us the position of our traditional institution in terms of taking care of persons with disabilities. We know that the traditional rulers are close to us. We would like to hear their own position and what they can do to take care of persons in this community. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you. Please permit me to stand on already established protocols. I welcome each and every one of us here present. I want to seize this opportunity to thank the New Central and TAF Africa for this great initiative. Entering this arena, I was moved with some kind of feeling when I saw a lot of persons physically challenged. And I feel these are persons from communities in and around Delta States. I got to know that there are persons from Edo, Ondo, very far away, Port Harcourt, Rivers, and what have you, and coming to Delta State for this town hall meeting. You're all welcome. I want to particularly request the chairperson for the persons with disability in Delta State to make it a point of duty to have audience with the Council of Traditional Rulers. There are times in some of our meetings we find it necessary to advocate for persons with disability. Most times we make our position known to the relevant government agencies for them to see the need to assist them in one way or the other. Why are we moved in this manner? The reason is this. In Delta State alone, because I work with data, I happen to be a civil servant before I ascended the throne. I left the commission as a deputy director. In 1991, during the census, we have 774 local governments in the country. When we conclude the exercise and we have to publish the figure, it's not just counting the figures or counting persons. When you finish whatever you are doing, you are going to distribute the population. In the course of the distribution, the number of persons with disability is such that the very large population that it is necessary that the government should look into their problems. I know in Delta State where we have 25 local governments, we have in that direction too about 1,400 localities in the state. If you look at the figure in 1991 census result, you discover that the population of persons with disability is staggering. As such, if we want to create a better Nigeria, we must look into the problem of our persons with disability. And when they are advocating for a kind of right, I think it's overdue. Coming to if you want to, looking at the localities, I can from the results, I got 43,344,000. The number of persons with disability. If you are to spread it across the 774 local governments in the country, you see that the population is such that if we want them to even be anywhere in the country, because during elections, you allow them to vote and they bring somebody to stand in for them, you'll be surprised that they will be victorious in that election. And by so doing, if they get into the office, they will be there very comfortable to do so many things for themselves. And before it comes to that, I want to encourage the relevant government agencies to do the needful and see that they are included. This policy of inclusion should be taken care of, should be well worded, should be well conceived, and should be well implemented. On behalf of the chairman, Delta State Council of Traditional Rulers, I salute your courage and want to tell you that whatever your agitation, we also have in mind, and we will continue to advocate for you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And still from Delta State, I would like to call Omo Isaac, who is a Senior Special Assistant on Disability Affairs to the Governor of Delta State.
No, I'm okay, fine. Yes, go right. Yes, go.
Yes.
Okay. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Comrade Obriche Isaac Omo. I am the Senior Special Assistant to His Excellency, the very hardworking Governor of Delta State, His Excellency Right Honorable Francis Orowedo Oborewori. I want to, on behalf of His Excellency, appreciate South Africa and also New Central for putting this very wonderful program together. I want to say here that His Excellency, the Governor of Delta State, is a governor that is very passionate about the plight of persons with disabilities, and this has been demonstrated in several programs that have been carried out in the states as far as employment is concerned, and also political appointments. It's on record that he has given over 5 political appointments, over 6 political appointments, I beg your pardon, to persons with disabilities cut across the 3 senatorial districts. And since his assumption in office,
assumption of office, he has given in the last teachers' recruitment over 65 persons with disabilities were employed into the various schools as teachers. I think our governor deserves a round of applause, please. Okay. And he has also given, like I said earlier, over 6 appointments to persons with disabilities in Delta State, cutting across special advisors and senior special advisors. And this is something that has never been done by any governor in Delta State. A round of applause for him again, please. Then, now to solution. I want to state clearly that solutions cannot come when we are all in our comfort zone. Solution will not necessarily also come with many talking and without actions. I love Mr. Jakes for one thing and several other things. It makes sure it walks the talk. We are not where we ought to be, but sincerely speaking, as a state, most especially Delta State, we are not where we used to be. Now, certain things has been said here. The 5% has been reduced to 1%. What is the community doing about it? Nobody will come and cry for you. You will have to fight it and take your destiny to your hands. So on this note, I want to also use this medium to suggest to the governors and Mr. President, let the office of the Senior Special Assistant to the President, the office of the National Disability Commission be domiciled in their offices, the building complex, so that this will give more voice to our community. With this, I think we can bridge the gap and our community will be better for it. So once again, I welcome you all to our dear state. Thank you and God bless you.
Thank you so much, sir. Before you go, as we asked your colleague from Edo State, we know that the governors have been doing so much. Is there anything you would like to suggest that can be added to what the governor is doing for the people living with disabilities that has come out of this town hall meeting? Is there anything you can suggest to the governor?
Yes, I want to suggest that let us have members in the state executive councils and ministers in the federal executive council who are persons with disability. With this, when we have ourselves in some of these tables, some of these rooms, when these decisions are taken, with this, we'll be able to lend our voices. So please, Mr. President, give us a minister. Our governors give us commissioners and also secretary to government. We can do the work. We went to school. Thank you and God bless you.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much. Thank you. We're gradually coming to the end of this program. Before we go to the federal level, I would quickly like to call on Mr. Frederick Odiachi, who's representing Honorable Ifechukwuku Bridget Anyafulu, who's a member representing Oshimili South State Constituency, Delta State House of Assembly.
Good afternoon, everyone. All protocols observed. All right, so I will be reading from the presentation of the Honorable. So please, I'm highly pleased and honored to be invited to participate in this news in this News Central Television Town Hall meeting on inclusion of people living with disability in our dear Delta State. It also gives me great pleasure to note the interest and concern of the organizers for inclusion of women and girls living with disability. I therefore commend News Central Television for taking this initiative to assemble us here in yet another move to find a solution to the challenges faced by people with disability in our society. I am invited to participate in this dialogue on the basis of my position as the chairman of the Delta State House of Assembly Committee on Housing, Women Affairs, Humanitarian Support Services, and Girl-Child Development. And what I am expected to do here today is very clear. The invitation letter says, it is expected that my presence would bring valuable legislative insights to discussions surrounding the protection, empowerment, and inclusion of women and girls living with disability in Delta State. In deference to these guidelines, and with your permission, this is just what I will proceed to do now. Let me say that the Delta State 8th Assembly, which I have the rare privilege and honor to be a member of as the representative of Oshomili South State constituency, values highly and accords priority to rights and empowerment of women and girls. It is a progressive and gender-friendly assembly. It may interest you to know that Delta State's Social Investment Program Law 2023 is one of the first bills passed by the 8th Assembly. It is in fact the first bill passed by the House. Fundamentally, the bill seeks to alleviate poverty for the improvement of the socio-economic conditions of citizens of the state and ensure a more equitable distribution of resources and economic growth to vulnerable citizens of the state, including but not limited to children, youths, women, persons living with disability, the aged, traders, and farmers. This bill was introduced on October 24th, 2023, which was barely 4 months after the inauguration of the 8th Assembly. It was passed by the House on December 20th, 2023, barely 2 months after its first meeting. The Governor, His Excellency Right Honorable Elder Sheriff Ogborowori, has since given his assent to this bill. I should also let you know that the Delta State Protection of Persons with Disability Law 2023 is also one of the first bills passed by the 8th Assembly. The law principally seeks to safeguard persons living with disability against all forms of discrimination, equalize opportunities in all aspects of living in society, and establish Delta State Commission for Persons with Disability. The bill was introduced on December 12, 2023, and has been passed by the House on March 12, 2024. It has been assented to by the Governor. There are many other laws passed by the 8th Assembly that also protect and promote the rights and well-being and empowerment of people with disability. They include the Child's Right Amendment Law and the Human Trafficking Prohibition Amendment Law. The Violence Against Persons Prohibition Law, VAP Amendment Bill, is currently being considered. It's currently being considered in the House. It is already at the advanced stage and is expected to be passed soon. So I can assure you that the 8th Assembly is committed to working for the protection and well-being, development, and empowerment of people with disability. But as we all know, it is a shared goal. of the society and not the exclusive task or assignment of any one entity. So it's a collective goal for all of us to ensure that we work hand in hand for a full coverage and ensure that everybody, whether with disability or not, we work collaboratively to show love to one another. I believe that's the ultimate message at the end of the day.
Thank you very much. Please, can we put our hands together? At this juncture, I would like to say a very big thank you to everybody who has attended, present here, and those who have been watching from home. But before we conclude this program, we did mention earlier, Dr. J. Kepele did mention that there will be certain materials distributed to certain persons, and we have come to that particular time. But Dr. Jake from TAF Africa would not be doing that alone. I would like to introduce and call forward Dr. Jake, the chairman of the board, and of course, I would like to call the managing director and editor-in-chief of News Central Television, the person who put together this program and other town hall series that we've had. He's the brain behind the town hall series and the initiator of this particular program. So first of all, I'd like to call Dr. Jake. I'd equally like to call the chairman of the board, and I'd like to call our MD and CEO News Central Television in the person of Mr. Kayode Akintemi. Please, can we put our hands together as he comes forward? We'll take a few words from Mr. Kayode Akintemi as he comes forward.
All right. Oh, well, leave my friend with the white hair to go first. But I just want to announce that all these are brand new. And where is Henry from CBM? Please go ahead, sir. If you still need some time. If you can stand up in this hall, if you can stand, let's stand and give a rousing ovation to Kayode for this big dream. If you can stand, Thank you.
This is not for me.
Thank you, Kayode.
Please be seated. This is News Central completely and wholesomely. The entire News Central family is committed to this project. I am sure, as the sun is shining out there today, that almost everybody in the office, they're all watching, they're involved in the production, in the back end, in the PCR in Lagos, and those who are not in Lagos, they're all watching. So the round of applause again for News Central Television. Thank you.
Well, the MD, sir, thank you so much. I can't thank you enough. News Central has spent their own money for some of the things that you're seeing here today. But then our partner, the CBM and the EU, have bought this what you're seeing here today. We have...
I can only do...
Yes. Yeah. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. So let me give the privilege to the MD, the chairman, and Henry to do the presentation. We can only do two. Quick. What's the name of the first presenter? Okay. What are we presenting?
We share.
All right. So please, sir, go ahead. Yeah. Okay. You can actually sit on it. Yeah. Yes. It's yours. Okay. All right. Yeah. Okay. Oh, yeah. If we can help him. We don't have the time. Don't worry, darling. Don't worry. Let him pull him. Thank you. That is Kayode for you. Oh, yeah. No. There's no time. Okay. So you can see the passion of Kayode, always willing to help. All right, MD sir, Chairman, and Henry. All right. Okay, I think we're okay. The other things will be presented after the program. So if your name is on the list, stay back in the hall. We have 45 other items to present. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Yeah, go ahead.
No, it's okay. Congratulations. Yes, congratulations. Ayo, congratulations. Yes, thank you. Congratulations. Yes.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, I will need everybody's attention in the room. I'll need everybody's attention in the room. Ladies and gentlemen,
please, can we pay attention? Please, can we pay attention, please?
the excitement is palpable because those who have received the wheelchair, there are only 2 of several others that will be collecting good things today. We still have quite a few yet to be presented, but because of time, we will not be able to do it on television. Just to let the people at home know that there are goodies awaiting some of you that are here today. Can we have your attention? There's still people who are still congratulating those who got wheelchair in that end. If somebody can, Godwin, can you please help me sort them out so that they give them the space to be able to move in that place? Please help me make sure that they're comfortable. They are the special people today. They have to be answered to, they have to be looked after, and they have to be comfortable. Please, help me make sure they're comfortable there. Godwin, please. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to make this very quick. First, I must say thank you to the Asagba of Asaba, who we spent some time with yesterday and who also committed to be a part of this conversation, the town hall today. Please help me say a big thank you with a rousing applause. I stated very clearly yesterday that society's true strength is measured not by wealth or power, but by how it protects and supports its most vulnerable members, including the poor, elderly, and disabled, particularly the people living with disabilities. This is a season where politicians are gearing up for the next election. Ladies and gentlemen, please listen to this. It's very important. And it is that season that they are most willing to listen, because failure to listen costs too much, as loss of election is not an option for any politician, and we all know that. I'll give you this estimate. Recent estimates indicate that approximately 25% of Nigerians, ladies and gentlemen, 25% of Nigerians are living with some form of disability. This high prevalence includes both visible and invisible disabilities, with about 1 out of 10 households having at least one person with a disability. Please note, this is not my statistics. This is the National Bureau of Statistics, Nigeria's agent that puts together data for government to use in their policy making, their policy direction, strategic alignment, and everything else that they do. I saw this and said to myself, the meaning of equitability, equity, fairness is that the numbers should add up. I have chosen a path. My path, and by extension that of News Central, is developmental journalism. We will be the voice of the voiceless. Ladies and gentlemen, we will amplify those minorities not often listened to. We will have our finger on the pulse of the nation and share the reading to all, especially those in the corridors of power. But ladies and gentlemen, my sisters and brothers here today, myself, please let me make this declaration here today. My name is Kayode Akintemi, the Managing Director, Editor-in-Chief of News Central, and News Central, by extension. We cannot do much if you all, every individual, and I need those who are looking at the back to look in the front, and Godwin, help me get in there and make this clear. Godwin, we cannot do much if you all choose to be silent or quiet. You have a great opportunity now as we are in the election season. I'm letting out the humanist and activist journalist side of me for this forthcoming election 2027. I beg you, in the name of whatever you believe, whether it is Allah or Shango or God or Jesus, whatever deity you worship, I beg you in the name of that deity. Any candidate, any political party that does not have something in their 5-point agenda, 7-point agenda, 10-point agenda, or 12-point agenda for people living with disability, make a clear campaign and let them know they will lose that election. You have to let them know. But just note that if you will choose to make that clear, because you constitute 25% of our population, if you make it clear to them that they will lose the election if out of their 5 points they don't have one for you, out of their 7 points they don't have anything for you, if out of their 10 or 12 they have nothing for the people living with disability, ladies and gentlemen, please let them know that they will lose that election, and put out a campaign through your various organizations. Bring the campaign to us. We will help you amplify it. Because you must be heard, you must be listened to, and something must happen for people living with disabilities in Nigeria. News Central will give you all the support in your effort to engage them and to make them accountable at the end of the election when they assume office. To wrap this up, let me circle back to where I started from. I said clearly that the strength of our nation is not in how much money that some people have in their accounts. It's not in the amount of guns that we have to fight bandits. It's not in how we fight criminality and fraud and people who steal our money. It is in how we care for those who are disabled, those who are poor, and those who are elderly. That is our strength. And that is what we see in other climes. I remember that there was a time in the United Kingdom where I was living, where a minister happened to be a person that was not just visually impaired, but he was blind. And he was a minister in government, serving as a minister and a member of parliament as well. What is it that makes it such that we cannot have, like my dear brother and friend Dr. J.K. Pele said, why can't we have a minister who's blind? Why can't we have a minister who happened to be incredibly talented and educated, like Chinedu there, who can be a minister in charge of ministry, taking care of the business of the nation? Why can't we? There's nothing stopping you. The fact that you cannot see does not make you unable to think. Of course you can. You're giving the same level of IQ, and in some cases, people who are visually impaired have some other sensibilities that are activated by God to be more than enough to compensate for that blindness. People who cannot move mean that they concentrate on a number of other things that makes them become professors in universities. So please, let nobody lie to you. Let nobody tell you that because you're living with disability, it means your only option is to beg for bread. By the grace of God, none of you will have to beg for bread anymore. I am trusting and believing that your organizations represented here will collaborate with us to make it clear to all politicians that that which we have started today is not ending today. Professor Anibagu, who is the chairman of the Board of Trustees of the Albino Foundation of Africa, Dr. J.K. Pele, who is the CEO and founder, we have had conversation and we have said that this is not the end of this. This is just the beginning. We're taking around the nation. We're engaging all people living with disability to make sure that they get their seat at the table, that they will have a chance to be represented in government and outside of government, and that banks and businesses, telecoms and other businesses and government agencies will begin to think of inclusivity. When you have 25%, they should not be offering you a miserable 5%. It is a miserable number, but I cannot do anything about it if you will not fight for your rights. So please fight for your rights. Insist you must get it. Insist that you must get what you deserve. When you do that, then you have us, the fourth estate of the realm, the one that has the capacity to amplify your voice. We will be there for you, just as we insist we'll be there for children, we'll be there for women, we'll be there for the poor, we'll be there for the masses. And we will make sure that this nation that has the capacity to be the greatest, not only in Africa, but around the world, will come to take its rightful place, with every single one of you sitting in this room taking your rightful place at that table as well. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
Ladies and gentlemen, as I say thank you for being with us here, I just want to say that we've been here for 3 hours and 15 minutes. Let's please put our hands together for ourselves. And I also like to say that that equally means that I have been standing for 3 hours and 15 minutes, so please put your hands together for me. At this juncture, I would like to say a very big thank you on behalf of the entire crew and family of News Central Television who have brought you this town hall series for persons with disabilities. We have talked about the sympathy. It is now time for us to put the structures in place. Once again, thank you so much for joining us. Have a lovely day.